Oh, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you may be on this earth. Boy, this has been a busy day for me. It's been an extremely busy day. I finally came up with the formula to save humanity. And now I will begin on my future broadcast to discuss this formula. After serious considerations, I found that I can, of all the variables that's needed in this operation, I discovered a way that I could summarize this formula in less than four variables. But I'm knowing that I is a variable, C is a variable, and M is a variable. I may need to add another one. But I think I can understand now how men formulate equations and theories. First, it begins with contemplation. And what my contemplation led me to, it led me to this. I've it's in. I discovered the formula within the last 12 hours, and I have been so excited that I have been doing broadcasts. I've been doing videos after videos because I'm so excited with the fact that I have discovered the formula which I was seeking. Yes, I've discovered the formula to save humanity. It's easier for me to discuss the dynamics of this formula. And after I discuss the dynamics of this formula, then just as Einstein did, I can put it in a small way. In other words, I can summarize it in an equation. But we got to realize that the equation is more than what we see. The equation only represents the concept. Okay, let me discuss the dynamics of my formula. Well, it's not my formula. As I had indicated in my previous broadcast and discussion, uh, detecting concepts, as Einstein detected the concept of relativity, and he summarized it with E equal mc squared. I'm saying that the formula that I will begin to uh, with the formula that I will begin to advocate. The formula was always there. It was always there in nature. It only took serious contemplation for a human being to find the formula. Okay, let's talk about the formula. Let's talk about the reason why for the formula. Let's talk about why this formula. Why did I seek this formula? Why did I seek this ultra reality? The ultra reality was there before I was in my mother's womb. Just as E equal mc squared was existed in ultra reality even before Einstein detected it. Let's talk about my formula. My formula is a uh, reaction to Einstein's formula. In my previous broadcast, I don't think that Einstein was an evil man, but I have to say this: he came he came from an evil culture. What do you mean? What do I mean evil culture? The culture that Einstein came from was the same culture that Adolf Hitler came from. They were both Germans. And both of them were influenced by the philosophical ideologies of Western European ideas of white supremacy. Both of them were groomed In the same culture. Einstein was from Germany. Einstein came about during the same time as Adolf Hitler. But Adolf Hitler went in this direction, and Einstein went in this direction. But it's quite interesting. Einstein and Hitler were two different characters, but the sense of destruction, the sense of destroying things, the thing about harming humanity, insensitive to the human entity. Even though Adolf Hitler went this way and Einstein went this way, both of those guys were from the same culture. Germany, Germany, Western Europe. Einstein came up with a formula that led to the nuclear age, which led to man's contemplations of doing mass killings. Hitler grew up in the same culture, and Hitler killed millions. He didn't just kill them, he tortured them. He did unthinkable things to human beings. Hitler did. But he and Einstein, they came from the same culture. But within those two men, look at the ideas of destruction, the ideas of death, the ideas of the destruction of humanity that existed in the minds, that existed in the culture of these two men. I don't think Einstein was a man like Hitler. But it's quite interesting. It was quite interesting. We got Einstein from Germany on one hand, and we got Hitler from Germany on the other hand. Both men born in the same era. And what Einstein contemplated, what Einstein instigated, what Einstein meditated on, what Einstein studied, he studied on a formula, and it was called theory of relativity. And he represented it by saying E equal mc squared. It led to the atomic blast that killed hundreds of thousands of Japanese during World War II. Hitler did not use an atomic bomb, but he was able to kill with not with his soldiers, but in his concentration camp, he was able to kill over 10 million human beings. He was able to kill 10 million human beings. And the power of the nuclear bomb has that same power, the destruction of humanity. So I have come up, I have come up with the dynamics. I have come up with the dynamics which will save humanity from what these Germans did. The installation began with this German culture. But I don't know that much about German culture. I know something about Western culture. And I know there was this whole idea of whites being superior to all the races and all this stuff. The way this type of ideology was taught to the youth of the Western European, I guess especially the Germans, because when you they have done some profound things in this century, in the last century, the 19th century. We in the 20th century. In the last century, those Germans that they did some profound. I mean, Hitler with the way he treated humanity, and then Einstein comes up with a theory that also leads to the destruction of humanity. My formula, the formula which Almighty God allowed me to detect, is a formula that will save humanity. Humanity will not become extinct by the act of some madman. But we have to be reasonable, and we have to consider where our minds at, and where will we be at when the big blast comes. There are certain realities we have to accept about the human condition, and that human condition is that if we go all the way back, as far back as we can, into the development of the human being and the development of mankind, we find that there is battle. As far as we can study history, and as far as we can go back, as far as we know that the foundations of civilizations, the foundations of men or human beings coming together, the foundations also exist with periods where men battle. And I think even in the Bible it says there's a time for war and there's a time for peace. So if there's a time for war, then war must exist with humanity. So there will be war. Why the divine designs it so that there will always be war as we understand it. Now we can go into other things like other universes, other universes, other universities, other universes, other universes, other realities. So when we get into discussion of infinity, then we can talk about other realities. Maybe in other realities, by the mere fact that we can imagine these other realities. If we can imagine a reality where there is no war. It exists somewhere in the infinite universes. If we can conceive it in the mind, therefore it exists. Not necessarily right before you, but it exists somewhere in infinity, in the infinite universe. So in our universe, this universe that we live in, mankind, they will all. When we study history, there has always been war. So that's just a reality. I mean, we can either say it's sad, nor it's good or bad. It's just that's part of the reality of the existence of man. War. There will be war. How the divine designed it, so be it. Blessed be the name of the Lord. But that's how it's designed. So here we are in this, I guess, is this the 21st century? Well, I know it's 2023. Here we are, 2023, and we're on the verge of a change. One of the changes will be the shifting of power. The shift, what was last becomes the first, and what was first becomes the last. I think that's somewhere in the scripture. Somewhere, I don't know. But that's all part of the reality that we live in. So there will be war. Man has the ability to engage in nuclear wars, where today one nuclear weapon can wipe out an entire, not a city, but a nuclear bomb can wipe out an entire nation. That's how powerful these are instruments that mankind has at his fingertips right now. So when we look at mankind, when we study mankind continuously back in history, whenever mankind has the power to initiate an action in order to maintain dominance, he will use that power. Didn't the US use the atomic bomb almost 100 years ago on Japan, knowing the type of effect it would have on human beings? When the United States of America dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan, did they know that there would be babies there, children there, women there? Didn't they know that that bomb would kill everything that lived? War. In the reality that we exist in, there will always be war in our reality. Okay. Though man has the potential to exterminate humanity, man cannot destroy humanity. Why do you think the formula exists in the ultra reality that says this is what you do to keep man from becoming extinct? Why would that formula exist in reality? Why would that formula exist in ultra reality? They have to be detected by a sensitive mind. If Einstein comes up with E equals mc squared, and that leads to contemplation of mass destruction of human beings, isn't there another form in that ultra reality that says, no, man cannot destroy man? Okay, what was that? What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the reality of war. I mean, people go to war. You have warriors. They go to war. David was a soldier in power. So you have soldiers go to war. And you know they go to war. Some are going to come back and some are not going to come back. Some are going to come back damaged without arms or legs, and some are going to come back with all their appendages. But that is war. And I guess there are other little things that determine what happens to each individual when this particular person goes to war. Will he be the first to get his head blown off? Who would be the first casualty? Who would come back home? Who would be buried in the dust? Who would just die on the battlefield? The unknown soldier. The reality of existence. The reality of human existence. So there will be war. But there is a formula that says mankind will continue to survive. Okay, let's talk about the dynamics of it's not my formula. It's the formula which exists. Like Einstein, have detected a formula. Yeah, like Einstein, I have detected a formula that exists in nature. Why God why he gives that privilege to me? Well, I'm an angel of God. Yes, I'm an angel. I am an angel of God. So I guess maybe that's why he gave me the privilege to be able to detect. That's why I have the privilege, and he allowed me to detect that formula where we can save mankind. Here are the dynamics. I've been so excited. I've been so excited. My goodness, I just did a video. I've done in the last 6 hours. I have done, this is my third video about my discovery. Because just as I was excited with E equal MC squared, I got excited with the formula which God allowed me to detect in the ultra reality. I have the formula. I have the formula. But let me give you an aspect of it. There are two major aspects of this formula. There are two major aspects of this formula. One of the aspects I discussed when I was in the U.S. and well, people began to want to use these concepts. They basically in the U.S. it's like this. We like the message, but let's kill the messenger. There are two aspects. There are two essential aspects in this formula. And I'll talk about one aspect of it in this video. And I'll talk about both aspects off and on. So we have we have nuclear, we have countries with nuclear power. But they are human beings. You know, human beings got two sides, the good side and the bad side. And many times we can rationalize with each other. And we can rationalize and debate and discuss, and we don't have to fight. So we have to depend on that area of the brain that God gives to mankind, that area that allows us to be rational and to be compassionate, that part of the brain that exists in us. So basically, this formula, it depends, it exists with the rationale of the human being. Okay, we have a war. And I've already discussed it. If you've seen the other previous videos that I've done, I'm so excited. I've been just talking about it on videos and videos. But anyway, we got a war going on. We got many wars going on right now in the world, but we got a war that the Western media keeps in front of us. The war, Russia and Ukraine. Okay, okay. If you saw the other two videos, we already, Russia is going to defeat Ukraine. Ukraine belongs to Russia. And Russia will defeat Ukraine and they will be beat down, beat down. And there's nothing that America can do about it. Oh, what are you going to do, America? Oh, what are you going to do, England? These guys, what are you going to do? Because what the Russians said, and I believe the Russians, they will use that nuclear weapon. And I think you reap what you sow. That's what the Bible says. In the streets, they say what goes around comes around. America is due two bombs of mass destruction. America dropped two bombs of mass destruction on a nation. So you got these itchy fingers, itchy fingers. The bomb is coming. Okay. How does the world, how does the earth survive a nuclear holocaust? How does it survive it? By using the intellect that God gave to man. See, what's the problem? The problem that we have that's going on in the world right now is we have these sodomites, sodomites, who are just anxious to get poked in the anus, that they cannot reason with the intellect that God gave us. We don't, we don't have to commit acts of immorality to save mankind. All we have to do is use the intellect that God gave us and the fear of God and the love of God, and every problem, every solution exists. So when the first whatever nation, whatever nation who utilizes a nuclear weapon against another nation on this earth, the first nation that utilizes a nuclear weapon against another nation on this earth, he becomes the target of all the nations who have nuclear power. So if you fire a nuclear weapon from Russia and it lands in New York, Russia, you become a criminal nation, and you shall be executed. How are you executed? All the nations that have nuclear power focus their arms on you and release their atomic weapons, and all of the nuclear bombs fall on your land. So Russia is destroyed. What is it's somewhere in the Bible it says if your arm causes you to do wrong, cut it off. But if US, if America is the first country to send a nuclear weapon to another country, then all of the countries with nuclear power must aim their weapons at the US. And all the nuclear bombs fall on US. We're being fair about it. We're talking about humanity. We're talking about war, which is a reality. If the bombs are isolated in one area, that doesn't mean that means that the whole earth won't be living under toxic, won't be under the things that happen after the blast, what they call the fallout. In other words, what we're doing is we're keeping the nuclear fallout in one area rather than acting like madman. Okay, when one nation shoots the nuclear bomb and then everyone starts shooting nuclear bombs like man, no, we don't have to do that. The first nation that uses a nuclear weapon against another nation becomes a criminal in the world, and he must be executed, which means that all those countries with nuclear weapons would send their weapons to whoever shoots the first bomb. If it's Korea, North Korea, then all the countries in the world, they send off their missiles to North Korea. If it's India, who shoots the first nuclear bomb to another country, then all the possessors of nuclear weapons make India their, their target. So with this type of international attitude, where the nations have said, okay, we're talking about the preservation of humanity. Okay, right now they are testing nuclear weapons here and there on parts of the earth, but we're not getting the fallout because where they are doing it. So in this plan and in this theory, that what we do is we can actually isolate, we can actually streamline where the nuclear fallout is. The nuclear fallout will begin from the country that shoots, the country that he makes the first move, the country that uses a nuclear weapon against another country. The first one, all of the other countries aim their missiles at this country who shall be the criminal in international relations. So if you shoot a missile, any country, if you use a nuclear bomb, a nuclear missile to attack another nation, that means the rest of the earth will attack you. If you, as a nation, use a nuclear weapon against another nation, then all nations who have nuclear power will direct their weapons at you. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. This is Musa, Matt Meacham Jr.